Still is. Came out to the school, everybody picking up the magazine, giving me the sign I was happy about.
Ballpark, how many of these have you signed in the past couple weeks?
About 40.
40?
40. They came to the school 2 days ago.
See, this is what I don't believe about you. I know you got a big decision coming up, but you always tell me how shy you are.
I am.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
I am, a little bit.
There you go, okay. Well, you say at this point, there's a lot to decide with your recruitment. You've pushed back your announcement date. When are we going to know where you're going to play your college football, and what was the decision behind pushing it back?
You don't know on the 14th, and I pushed it back, but I wasn't really sure what school I was going to go to. I had to take a visit to Clemson, and I actually enjoyed it. And so they back in the mix a lot. They one of the top schools I'm thinking about, South Carolina, Alabama.
Well, we saw you out in the newsroom watching the coverage of Clemson, raving about Sharon Peake, one of the top receivers in the nation, talking about Tony Stewart, a guy ends up going to Clemson, Stephon Anthony as well. When you hear those guys coming off the board and that's one of the schools you're considering, what does that do to your interest?
Make me want to go there too. Let me know I got people on my team trying to win just like me, top athletes.
So I cut you off there a second ago. What are we down to? Who are the schools that are actually in consideration? Because you hear everybody to this point, they're saying South Carolina, Alabama.
Clemson, South Carolina, Alabama.
So final 3 schools.
Yes, sir.
What else do you need to find out before you make that announcement on the 14th?
Nothing really, just sitting back to the 14th waiting.
Do you know in your head what you're going to do?
Not really.
When are you going to know? What's going to happen when you know this particular school is where I'm going to play?
Probably like 2 days before. I got to talk to my parents about it and sit down and talk to them and see what they're going to put into it.
Well, you've really hit it off with Cyrus Kouandjio, #1 offensive tackle in the nation, and you heard the story about him. He makes that verbal commitment to Auburn and then somewhat backs off, decides to delay on sending that national letter of intent in. Give us an idea of how stressful this is to be a person of your age, to have all this scrutiny on you with one of the biggest decisions of your life.
It's pretty hard, got that going on with school, and you just have to focus on school, but then you got to focus on this after school, going to college, and it's hard. So I understand where he's coming from. He really ain't ready. So he talked to me the other day, called and asked me what I think about Auburn. I was like, I ain't into him. So, he was like, I don't know either, man. He gonna see. Check him out.
If he wants to talk to you about potentially teaming up at Alabama, how would that phone conversation go?
I tell him I wasn't really sure for now. I wouldn't really jump on it because I ain't gonna say I'm going to Alabama or what school I'm going to on TV right now. So
there you go. You got to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
Got a big announcement coming up. Let's talk about the schools. You mentioned Clemson, what stands out about them. A lot of people pointing to you as an in-state guy, with Steve Spurrier eventually down the road at South Carolina. What intrigues you about the Gamecocks?
They're close to home, man. I got some former teammates play with, and I like them a lot.
Some of those guys doing big things there for South Carolina. What do guys like Devontae Hallman tell you about why you should also follow them to South Carolina?
Everyone tell me to follow them. I'll just put them in there because they playing for them and they doing good, and they right up the road. My family can come see me play a lot.
Now, a lot of people want to know, okay, if we get you Clowney, the #1 player that a lot of people have seen in many years, how is he going to look in our college football uniform? Well, because of VA Sports, we got you wearing #7 for Alabama. How do you look?
Look good on that.
The #7, is that staying with you?
Yes, sir.
And then for South Carolina, the #7 as well. You hit people harder than that, though, right?
You know
it. Clowney, also in the mix with the Clemson Tigers. What is it like at this point to just have a normal life, like a teenager like yourself, and just to go out and do normal teenage things?
Really hard. You can't really do it because, you go out there wilding in the streets or anything, people gonna see it, and they always go back and say, oh, he got some bad rap on him, and you really got to stay focused in school and stay out the streets and stuff, so you don't get to hang out like you want to, so,
Well, you heard the chants when you went to that South Carolina basketball game. We want Jadeveon. They're working on him. He is the #1 overall player in the class of 2011, but Reese, we're going to have to wait, still making up his mind on February 14th, his birthday, when he's going to make that decision, turning it from V-Day to D-Day. Reese?
All right, Lowell, I knew you'd get